Time is the most important currency we have, and yet we never feel like we have enough of it. In this world, I feel like there's just so many energy suckers. We're going to get into 5 of what I think are the most important healthy habits that'll improve and change your lives. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? So I had a few errands to run before we do our little sit down chat for today, so I thought I'd take you guys along with me. It's a little gloomy, a little rainy outside, so we don't love that, but we're gonna make it work. What can you do? You can't really change that, but that's what we do around here. We make the best out of every situation. So I think I'm gonna go to the gym, maybe pick up some stuff from the local bakery, and maybe do some grocery shopping, but we'll see. So come along and we'll have a little sit down chat, a little talking about setting intentions for 2025 a little later in this video. Okay guys, so I actually didn't get to record too much while I was out and about because one, I am still a shy girly learning how to do all of this and felt a little awkward in such a small bakery trying to record, but then two, because it has been very rainy and gloomy out. So I am just gonna do a quick run through of everything that I got just to give you guys some ideas. So from the bakery, I actually just got some flour that is gluten-free. There's this really cute bakery that sells gluten-free desserts and different baked goods, and so I love just supporting them because they're a local bakery. I got a giant tub of spring mix. I love trying to opt for spring mixes. Avocados, you guys gotta have your avocados. This is a really good healthy fat source. I always load up on sweet potatoes, eggs. I've got ground chicken here. Guys, don't sleep on ground meats. They are affordable and obviously high protein sources, so definitely try to get those when you can. Lentils are very affordable too and a great source of protein actually. Apples are my favorite quick snack along with peanut butter. Blackberries, I love to top on my yogurt. I am currently on Cocoa June, which is an organic coconut based yogurt. And then frozen produce. Don't sleep on those. I load up on frozen broccoli and then frozen fruit. This time I picked out strawberries. Finally, got some shrimp. Hi guys, how's everyone doing today? So before we dive in, we're gonna start the video with quick breathe in, breathe out exercise just to set the vibe, set the tone before we dive in. So if everyone could go ahead and close their eyes, we'll do one quick round of breathing. So close your eyes and take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. My hope is with doing some of that calms everyone down, sets the mood for the video, and we can go ahead and dive in after that. So I don't know where 2024 went, but we are rapidly crashing into 2025. And for 2025, I really want to embrace slow and intentional living. I talked about this a little bit in my last video, but really I feel like it's so important to not speed through life, not get caught up in the rat race. Just be present, take things as they come, be mindful, go through life with a little bit more awareness for yourself, your body, and what's going on. That'll really benefit a lot of us, especially with everything going on in the world. Time is the most important currency we have, and yet we never feel like we have enough of it. Why is that? In this world, I feel like there's just so many energy suckers, and it's really hard to balance it all and make sure that you feel restored, energized, revitalized, and ready for each day. And it's important to prioritize taking time for yourself, being mindful of whatever you have going on. I think we all could use a little bit more focus on conserving and restoring our energy. So that's definitely what I am focusing on these last couple of days in December. It's easy to feel like you might have failed or you need to start over in January because you didn't accomplish everything you set out to accomplish in 2024, or you need to rush through the end of the year to make sure that you accomplish everything. But you don't actually need to do that. And many of us forget that you just need to live life. Like, it's not that serious. Yes, it is helpful to build goals and work towards them and create steps for everything. But at the end of the day, you don't need to get wrapped up in that, or at least so wrapped up in it that you forget just to be present. Take a moment and think about all the things that happened in your life this year that made you feel good. Think about what else you could do to make that happen in 2025. Think about new ways that you can bring about those feelings. And that's what we should be focusing on for 2025. So today, as I promised, we're going to get into 5 of what I think are the most important healthy habits that will hopefully improve and change your lives. I have definitely practiced a few of these the last couple years, and some of them I have just started incorporating this past year. But all of these I feel are very valuable and for me have changed my life and helped me to become more intentional, more mindful, living that slow life I desire to live in 2025. So I hope some of you are able to find these tips and tricks helpful, and incorporating these habits can bring about some positive change in your health journey as well. So my first tip is to slow down. I wonder how many times I'm going to say slow down in this video, but it is so serious. I think every one of us should stop trying to rush everywhere. Plan your time a little bit better. You have to be somewhere at a certain time during the day. It takes you a while to do your makeup, or it takes you a while to feel motivated to start getting ready. Then build in that time accordingly. If you are working physically in the office somewhere else that's not in your house, don't just wake up right before you have to leave. Matter of fact, if you're working from home, you shouldn't be waking up right before you need to start working. You need to build in time so that you aren't feeling rushed every single point of the day. All of us are trying to fit in so much, I feel like, on a regular basis, that it's easy to just keep going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And you don't build in times for breaks, times for a breather, time to eat lunch without multitasking and doing something different. It's so important to think about how you can improve your time management. That way you stop feeling rushed, which leads to stress, which leads to worry, which leads to anxiousness. And building out your time a little bit better will definitely help with that. So yeah, slowing down is a huge one. I don't think any of us do it nearly enough, and that'll be the number one focus for me in 2025. All right, tip number 2 is doing something for you in the morning. What I mean by that is take a moment, figure out what you can do for yourself. That could look like 30 minutes, no screen time, the first thing you wake up in the morning. We reach for our phone immediately. We start scrolling on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. We start scrolling through emails, which will inevitably stress you out about what needs to get done during the day or what new came up that you hadn't seen before. And it's so important to not do that. Try putting your phone in a different room. That's something that I've noticed really works well for me because it's out of sight, out of mind when I wake up first thing in the morning. Also, it's probably much better for us in the long run not to keep our phones right next to our heads as we're sleeping. I'm sure many of us have heard that already, but try putting it in another location farther away from where you're sleeping, and then that will not only help you not reach for it first thing in the morning, but it'll also require you to actually get out of bed and get your phone when you really actually do need to look at it. The other good thing about taking 30 minutes before actually getting on your phone and just doing all that scrolling and looking at what you need to get done for the day is it just sets the intention for your day. You wake up slowly, you take your time, let your eyes adjust to the daylight, and then you start getting active. You start doing things for yourself. Then you can check your phone. Another thing you can incorporate is meditation or visualizing and envisioning what you want your day to look like, or even better, your dream life. I found that sets a positive mindset and a positive tone for my day when I'm actually a little bit more thoughtful and putting my mind in the right state to approach my day. What else can you do? You can open up the windows immediately, get some natural sunlight in, or step outside if it's not freezing cold. That's really important, and it helps to set our natural circadian rhythms. And then you can also practice your self-care routine rather than either rushing through it or not doing it at all because you woke up last minute. So important to start the day with something for yourself, because how can you pour into everyone else when you're not pouring into yourself first thing in the morning? Once I made that switch to doing things for me, finding time for myself in the morning, I noticed that my mood improved drastically throughout the day because I had already checked off boxes that made myself feel good before I went and I was doing work and helping people at work and helping my partner, my family, my friends. Doing anything else for other people before doing things for yourself means that you're not actually prioritizing yourself first. And how can you do the best for other people if you aren't doing the best for yourself? So just consider that. My third tip, and honestly it was really hard to rank all of these in my head, they're all on the same playing field. So even though I'm calling them tip number 1, tip number 2, tip number 3, it's all the same to me. But tip number 3 is start reading ingredient labels. Guys, if you haven't seen the news or you haven't been seeing all the TikToks and all the information online about how bad processed food is for us, then where are you? What are you doing? It's essential, long story short, to read ingredient labels of the food and the products that you are buying and make a decision for yourself. If you are comfortable with utilizing and intaking those ingredients, then by all means continue to purchase the product. In an ideal world, we all move towards eating clean ingredients, single food ingredients. That's definitely what I'm moving towards, but I know that it's not easy to make that drastic 180 change. Trust me, I've been doing this for the last few years, and it's taken time to cut things out, to get comfortable with cutting things out, to understand that it is not easy to come across clean foods and whole ingredients as much as you would think it should be. And it takes a lot of time also for your taste buds to adapt to how things taste differently when they are whole ingredients in real food. Because trust me, all those chips and the candies and all the sweet foods that you're eating, real whole foods do not taste nearly as good. I will be 100% honest. Of course, you can make them taste really good, and trust me, that's what I've been doing. I'm happy to share more about what I eat and how I make food and what I look for in the grocery store. That's definitely more content to come. But for the purposes of this tip, read ingredients, make the decision for yourselves. You need to take responsibility for your health because nobody else is going to take responsibility for it. And if there is nothing else that I'm able to hammer home in this video today, please listen to this and take responsibility for your health. Start reading ingredients. Start with food and then branch out to other things. There are so many products and things that we are using in our daily lives that we don't even think twice about. We don't even know what's in them. For now, I have started with cleaning up my diet, and then eventually I'm going to broaden my scope to cleaning up the products that I use on my skin, on my body, around my home. And I'll definitely take you guys along on that journey and we'll all learn together. But for now, let's start with the diet. Tip number 4 is incorporating flexibility and mobility into your daily routine. So much of our daily lives is spent sitting compared to our ancestors were always moving around. We have desk jobs. We're sitting around on the couch after work. We are riding scooters to go run errands. We're sitting in our cars, in traffic. There's so much sitting and not enough moving. Of course, as a society, we've started making the shift to going to the gym and getting more physical activity in, which is really great. But think about it. If you work out for an hour and a half at the beginning of your day, and then you spend the rest of your day sitting at your desk working, and then you sit in your car, you get home, you sit at dinner, you sit watching TV, and then you go to bed. Where else was the movement? Where else was the physical activity? Where else were you taking care of your body? Just doing that hour and a half in the morning, that's a great step. But think about how you can incorporate little movement throughout the rest of your day. Walks, really great. We don't need to harp on that too much. Everybody knows that walking is essential. Another thing you can do is building in random breaks for stretches or working on your flexibility. So something I've been doing a little bit more randomly throughout the day is if I get up to make a cup of tea or I'm waiting for the water to boil, I'll do some quick arm stretches, or I'll reach down, touch my toes. I'll try to arch my back and just improve my spinal flexibility. Little things like that can definitely go a long way in making sure that your body stays flexible and agile and just overall improve recovery between workouts, in between sitting all day long. Other things you can do is before and after workouts, just working on the general mobility of your body. So doing different hip exercises, rotating your shoulders, and working on your knee mobility. Those kind of things will definitely help in the long run with both your workouts and just as you continue to age. So I highly recommend incorporating more opportunities for flexibility and mobility throughout your day. Other thing you can do is just stand a little bit more. Like I said, we are sitting so much these days. It's important to just get up, stand for a little bit. Even just a few minutes can make a huge difference throughout your day. Tip number 5 is to understand how different foods impact your body and your overall well-being. So what I mean by that is, like I mentioned earlier, reading ingredients is a huge thing. But then the other thing that you need to think about is, are the foods you are eating actually good for you? There's so much talk about this is a superfood, that's a superfood. Incorporate all of these foods into your diet. But you really need to understand if those foods are actually your superfood. And when you understand that, it can make a huge positive impact on your overall diet and your well-being. I took food sensitivity tests in the past, which I highly recommend that you do. And those helped me to understand what foods I was actually sensitive to that I didn't realize I was sensitive to. And ever since I cut those out, I have generally felt a lot better, less tired. I felt like I've had more energy to do things. Like my skin cleared up. Things like that are impacted in part by the food that we are eating. So just being a little bit more mindful about that. If you can, I highly recommend taking those food sensitivity tests. Do different gut panel tests to really understand what's going on in your body, what your body likes, what nutrients your body needs more of. And that'll help you really optimize and tune and improve your overall well-being. So definitely consider that. I highly recommend, if you are able to, if your insurance covers it, to find functional medicine doctors and nutritionists to work with, because they focus more on the root causes and root issues within your body that are causing symptoms rather than covering symptoms. And I have significantly benefited from working with a functional medicine doctor and nutritionist in my overall health journey, because they really realized extensive and detailed panels of tests to understand all the different biomarkers in my body and understand what needed improvements, what nutrients I should be focusing on, what foods I should avoid. And you can tell when you eat the processed foods or you eat foods that aren't good for you, you instantly don't feel as great as whenever you focus on what does work for you. So definitely consider that for 2025 if you're looking to improve your overall well-being and focus on holistic health. All right, I know I said 5 tips. I felt like a couple of my tips were kind of related to each other, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in a little bonus tip, if you will, and that is to start embracing more of a clutter-free lifestyle, both in your surroundings and mentally. It's so important to do regular brain dumps. You guys should see my notes app in my phone. Every time I have an idea, I instantly write it down, and this past year I've recently started incorporating folders and different segments within the Notes app. That way I can store things in a little bit more of an organized way, and it has helped me so much because my brain is constantly thinking of different ideas, planning, thinking about the next action I need to take. And so just writing those all down, if you don't necessarily have your agenda nearby, you can just jot it down in a small notebook or in your Notes app on your phone. Brain dumps are super beneficial because since your brain is working so much, you take some of the work off of your brain to try to remember all those little things you think about throughout the day. So that's decluttering your brain. And then in your surroundings, become more comfortable with getting rid of things. I feel like so much of social media is pushing, buy this, get this, look at this haul, do this thing. But what we really need to understand is how much we're actually accumulating and acquiring throughout our lives. Do you really need everything you have in your closet? Actually, think about that. What I want to do better at for sure is whenever I am buying something, I think about something I can get rid of. What I do when I do shop is I do a closet audit and I see what am I not wearing regularly, what can I get rid of, and so I donate those things. If you start doing things like that, you won't start accumulating so many clothes that you don't even know what to wear anymore. Same thing with kitchenware, dishes, cups, spoons, utensils, products, literally anything you can think of, you can declutter. Because at the end of the day, you don't really need all of those things. Just be a little bit more mindful about the things that you have in your life and what you can get rid of. Because once you start decluttering and moving things around, you start seeing new perspectives and things start opening up for you. You start realizing, wow, I can live a little bit more freer. I can live a little bit more lightly because I am getting rid of all of these things, and it makes a huge difference. So those are actually 6 tips, healthy habits that you can start incorporating in 2025 to make a huge difference in your life. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you found some of the tips helpful and that maybe you can start incorporating some of them immediately, even after this video. And stay tuned. I will start posting videos a little bit more regularly. I'm going to try for 2 times a week, Mondays and Thursdays. I have another video coming up for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you all then in the next one. Everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day, and bye for now.